Philadelphia, the roast pork sandwich, piled into a sliced hoagie roll, adorned with sharp provolone cheese and broccoli rabe, at Tommy DiNic's in the Reading Terminal Market, was once declared the best sandwich in America by Adam Richman, a guy who knows a thing or two about bread and meat delicacies. It was, I can confirm, delicious, and Philadelphia's historical highlights are awe-inspiring, too. On this trip to America's first capital, I stood next to the Liberty Bell, and took a selfie, because I wanted to hate myself for a moment, and I read an original copy of the Declaration of Independence stowed in a dimly lit room next to Independence Hall. I walked down Elford's Alley in Old City and I stood next to Benjamin Franklin's grave, trying to imagine what life was like when he was helping a new country establish itself. More, watched Change Up, a new MLB Live whip-around show on DAZN, and just for the hell of it, I climbed the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, at a pace more like Rocky Balboa hadn't creepin' in the first Rocky movie. Dozens of tourists, though, sprinted up those steps with Eye of the Tiger blaring from their phones, then shadow-boxed invisible opponents, just like the Italian Stallion. In a random twist, even massive Philadelphia 76ers star Boban Marjanovic was there, doing his best Rocky pose for some type of photo shoot. Oh, just Boban doing the Rocky thing on the art museum steps. pic.twitter.com/QW7ZH15CBW, Ryan Fagan, @RyanFagan, March 27, 2019. Cheesy? Maybe, but who cares? Everyone wore a smile on those steps, and like everything else I experienced that day, it lived up to the hype, which brings me to the actual reason for this trip. Bryce Harper, as you know, signed a 13-year, $330 million deal this spring to play baseball for the Phillies. The hype around Harper is, and will continue to be, incredible. I wanted to see it for myself on opening day. I looked for signs of Harper all day Wednesday, the day before the Phillies opened their most anticipated season in a decade. I found nothing Harper-specific at the Reading Terminal Market, though there were Phillies cupcakes and shirts available at various vendors. And no Bryce jerseys or shirts around the historical sites, though that's not surprising considering those are mostly tourist destinations. I did find Harper on Market Street, along with his other Phillies teammates, on banners attached to light poles. Thursday was a different story, as expected. My Uber driver dropped me off at Citizens Bank Ballpark around 10:15 a.m., hours before the scheduled 3:05 p.m. first pitch, and I was already late. Phillies fans were out in force, with hundreds already putting together elaborate tailgating setups, others walking around the front entrance, and still others pre-gaming at the Xfinity Live Philadelphia bar venue across the street. My plan was to count the total number of Harper jerseys I saw that day, but I quickly ran out of fingers and toes and ditched that fool's errand after a couple of scant minutes. About an hour before my arrival at the ballpark, MLB sent out a press release showing Harper's Phillies jersey led all of baseball in sales so far in 2019, despite that he just signed at the beginning of March, and, well, that was easy to believe, and it wasn't just the jerseys. Harper t-shirts and hoodies were everywhere, too. Harper has said all the right things in the month he's been with the franchise, and the fans have embraced him with open arms and wallets. Lots of Bryce here today. pic.twitter.com/4is4v, Ryan Fagan, @RyanFagan, March 28, 2019. But it wasn't all Bryce at Citizens Bank Park, of course. The Phillies have a rich tradition, and there were plenty of baby blue jerseys of legends Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton, and the dark maroon threads of guys like Lenny Dykstra, Darren Daulton and John Kruk were well represented, too. I even saw one guy wearing a Steve Jeltz jersey. Still kicking myself for not getting a picture of him. More Mets and Nats show how tight NL East could be in 2019. Here's the thing about hype, though. Hype almost always overshadows other things of worth. The roast pork isn't the only delicious option at DiNic's. The Liberty Bell isn't the only historic artifact in Philadelphia. And Harper isn't the only reason to watch the Phillies this season and in the years to come. That was plainly evident throughout the Phillies' 10-4 opening day win against the Braves. Harper added to the hype pre-game with his Fanatic-themed shoes, but it was Andrew McCutchen, another off-season free agent addition, who led off the game with a solo home run for the Phillies. And it was holdover Michael Franco, who has been dropped from the middle of the lineup to the number 8 spot with the addition of Harper, McCutchen, JT Realmuto and Gene Segura, who broke open the game with his 3-run homer in the 6th. And it was Rhys Hoskins who sealed the win with his grand slam on the second pitch after the Braves opted to intentionally walk Harper to load the bases in the 7th. "I find joy in what my teammates do, and being able to see the success the way they did today, in that spot," Harper said after the game. "Anthony Rendon did that a lot last year, things like that. Seeing Rhys do it this year was awesome. And we got to do our handshake for the first time, so we were pretty pumped. The city's pretty pumped too, because even though the hype is mostly about Harper right now, the hope and expectations of the fan base are legitimate because of the other things of worth around the most noticeable newcomer. It's Harper, sure, but it's Hoskins and McCutchen and Realmuto and Franco and Aaron Nola, who struck out 8 and allowed just 1 run in 6 innings, and the other guys on the 25-man roster, like Philadelphia as a city isn't defined just by one sandwich or one historical artifact. The Phillies aren't defined solely by one new superstar. When you consider the entire packages, the hype is warranted."